One. All right, good evening, team. Sunday. We are currently looking at futures going into this week, upcoming week, and how it's looking. We are still on track for our targets. Our next targets below 427, 426. We had a high of last week. What was that? What is this? Sorry. 4260. I forgot we're inverted. So you guys are looking at an inverted chart. I like inverted chart when swinging short or buying puts. And it's like basically playing the long side, but with puts. So the chart is actually upside down, so we can read it in a bullish way. So it seems like we're not buying calls. When I'm long, puts means I'm basically short, but with a long aspect setup, if that makes any sense. So to your left, well, it's supposed to be a weekly. So you have the top left is a weekly chart. I basically edited and made a new drawing set. Why? Because I didn't want the same lines in the next three charts. I wanted the key lines in the weekly chart just to give you guys an idea of what's important. Yet to the right, you got your 4-day chart. Below that, you have the 2 hour, and to the left of that, you have your 2-day. So I like to focus on these four charts. Not just every single day. Well, actually every single day, but I like to look at the weekly every 2 days and also every 4 days. So if you think about that, I'm basically looking at the 4D chart. On its 4th day, I look over the weekly, and the 2D chart every 2 days, I look at the weekly. I like to see where we are. Why? Because I like to know if we are at the weekly lows or already setting up for a weekly high. And if that weekly high, it's targeting one of our upper levels or our SMAs. And if we look here at the weekly to the top left, we are on track for the upper Celt. And that upper Celt to your right shows 42.67. When trading futures or looking at futures, the increments are 25 cents to the quarter. So you round it to the nearest quarter. So 42.67 would be rounded out to 42.67 since it's 42.67.03. If it was 42.67.27, then it would be to the nearest quarter, which is 25. So here we got 4333.64 or 4333.50, rounding it to the nearest quarter. We're looking for a break above that and a test of 42.67 last week lows. Above that, or if you're looking at the standard chart, we're targeting 42.25.50. Weekly shows that we have a nice. So what got me there, and I'm going to show you guys this because I want to actually break it down, and how I predicted every single thing is just looking at the chart the same way I look at it, the long side, but just flipping it. And just so many things lined up. Volume lined up. The sell side volume was more than the buy side volume. So when I saw a big range, basically, like we call it pop, lock, and drop it, when the price pops, I say lock in. And when I mean lock in, does not mean to take profit. Lock in means you're executing to short and then drop it. Because that's what's going to happen. It's going to pop, it's going to spike, and then it's going to drop. So that's the whole term in pop, lock, and drop it. So here alone, we had a weekly glizzy. That was a given. Anything below 440 was a short. Why? Because once we got above this and closed above it, it went from an inside weekly to an inside up. Now, if we get another inside weekly this week, which I can doubt it, but if we do get an inside weekly, we'll have a weekly candle combo. And by looking at the chart here to your left, the weekly that I'm focusing on, actually, let's open that up. In 1 second, let me move this. Let's get this focus going for you guys. So this is our weekly. We're already on target. We're already on cue. So I took those 440 calls to the opposite side. Why? Because it's basically it's a win regardless. It was playing with free money anyway. So I wrote some profits into the 440s just in case. With that move last week, I took profit because it's like I don't want to give anything back. So this week we're targeting this upper Kel or our 42.66. Above that, 42.25, depending on how big this extension is. Coming off from this level, I like to look back at previous levels, and I'm going to show you all previous candles. For example, since we opened up this weekly here, I'm going to draw a line all the way across, and I'm going to make a box using last week's high, and I'm going to target the range for this week. Now with this box, you can see, I'm actually going to get some arrows here too. This is the highest point in this box, which was also a resistance, which was a 14 SMA, right? So this is the 14, 20, and 30. But I call them, to me, they trade like the Keltner channels. So this was the highest point, which was a rejection of the 14 SMA, which is this purple line. Also resistance at 42.25. So we can get a possible double top there to create another cup and handle. So if we come up to here and test up here this week, well, our max pullback would be 440 again. And if anything, we touch here, we're going to bounce. We're going to stay in this range. We're going to come here. If max down would be here. And then what's going to happen is we're going to be trading in this range, coming here to retest the 42.25, 50 breakout here. That would create a cup and handle. Why? Is your formation of a cup. And these arrows here would be your handle. And your breakout would be 42, 25, 50. So this week, our first target. Me, as always, I always take Monday weeklies, Wednesday weeklies, and Friday weeklies. I play SPY all the time. Even when I don't alert it, I play SPY all the time because I can't keep alerting, and telling you guys every single alert I do, because there's a lot of alerts that I take. I mean, a lot of plays I take, and I just don't want to alert it because it's already up too much. And I mean too much. For instance, GT last week, that was one. It had 500 contracts on the ask at a nickel. It was trading at, I think, 17.63. So I'm like, nah, they're not going to take it back up to 18. So I was like, whatever. So I did a little bit. I played a little bit. And then after that, what happened? It took off and it just kept going. So a lot of plays I don't post because it's just too many. It's too many. I do a lot of trades with SPY. SPY is my thing. I'm always trading with SPY. I mean, like last week, we traded SPY every single day. And I had this question. I wanted to bring this up. Somebody asked, why don't I just trade SPY? Because we are a creature of habit. We focus on one thing and we become so good at it that we want to learn other things. We want to find another ticker that we want to master. So we get to that point where we master so many tickers that in any market, you just know what's the best ticker to play at that moment. And for us, we have a lot of tickers under our belt. Well, me, of course, but I put you guys on to a lot of them. And I like variety for my team. I can give you SPY, but some people can't afford certain SPY calls. And I don't want everybody blowing their money on SPY same day, or we call it ODTE. Okay? ODE, sorry. Basically, same day expiry. So those I don't want you guys playing if you can't afford to play it. Because we scalp a lot. And I mean a lot. Like I size SPY a lot because it's something that I know. That's why I haven't sold any of the 438 puts until Thursday. And I didn't even sell any Thursday. I held into Friday. I started selling my long-term puts. And then Friday came, I got my price that I wanted that we called for 427. And they even got low to 426. And that's when I started selling. And then I sold everything because I had messed up. I had after hours on during market, so it threw me off and caused me to sell, which I wasn't even mad because it was a great week regardless. But well, back to it. Let's get back to it. So again, ES, our target this week is for basically we got the 30 SMA. That's our target. We want to see a close above 433, which is 4333. Now, the next thing I want to get to is MELI. MELI. Why MELI is my focus? Because MELI has been the guide for me to confirming the market's move. How? MELI has not budged. MELI has not budged. And if you look at the chart, hold on, let me get out of this. There we go. Here we go. This big move last week with MELI alone. They held 1908, had a double bottom there, had a nice build, and then we vacuumed to 1659. So what I wanted to see, that's why I went 2 weeks to 4 weeks out with MELI, is because, as I always told you guys, when there's a big week, you have to take into account that the next week has a 50% chance of being an inside week. Because if it vacuums and hits the 14 and 30 and goes inside of it and closes within those two, which it did, as you can see here, purple is the 14 SMA, orange is the 30 SMA, and the 20 SMA is the green. Okay, so when this happens, now we're looking at a retest of 1707, which I would love. I would add even a bigger position there. Now that retest, I'm going to see 1707 open up, and then I want it to take off. But then again, we can still open here at 1659 and continue higher. So I was looking for a mimicking move, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. My box. So basically, we got to move off of this level, and we created our first arrow here, closing above the 14 and the 20, right? Well, we didn't close above it. We actually closed above the 14. We got above the 20, then we rejected it. And we did that also, last week. Same thing. We hit the 20 and we rejected it. Now, what I was looking for, since we're in these two red lines, you see these going across, that's a range, that's a channel. I was looking for a pullback to retest the 14 SMA. And then from there, which would be here, somewhere around here, or it was either 1736 or 1707, and then a move to 1481 below that, which would be somewhere around here to mimic this move over here. So this would be the mimicking move. So let me delete this. I want this actually to match this range here. I love using ranges to predict moves. No, not every range is going to be exact. The prediction is going to hit. It never does. It's just some of the setups when they look identical, then you know it has that chance. I'm not saying this is going to be the move next week, but the reason I took the 1500 puts close to November was a safe bet, targeting 1200. Do I see MELI going back to triple digits? I definitely do. And for those that are long MELI, you know what to do, hedge. So this week we're looking for a max 1593. If not, we get above that, we got 1481 vacuum of price, which would be here. Let me clean this up. Should be our level here. Let me bring all my charts in now. So this is a weekly chart. To your right, you already know it's a 2-day. It's a 4-day. The issue for me is the gap, but I'm not too bothered by the gap. I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to show you what gap I'm talking about. The gap on the 4D, the 2D, and the daily. Let me bring this up for you guys. Bless you, Cuddy. Let me just set this up for you guys so you guys get an idea. Make this darker. Perfect. And as you can see on the 2D, we got a candle combo. So if SPY is opening up down tomorrow, we're getting a big open tomorrow. We're looking for 1500 or 1481 by week's end, if not by Thursday. And a possible rejection there, but breakout is 1659. That's what we've been battling. See on the H2, this 4D. We closed above the 20 SMA, gapped above the 14 and the 20 and closed above it. Next is to form the 30 SMA, which is 1609. I want to see a close above that. And we're on target for 1481. Going to the week after that. End of year, looking at possibly 1,000 or 955, 955 price target. So this gap right here, you can see on the 4D. Not much of a real big gap, so I won't really even count that. But if you look at when we actually came down, well, we gapped up actually. This considered a gap up because this is inverted. We still have to fill this gap. And remember, many gaps do fill. It just takes time for them to fill. So I would take, if we can find December or 2023 Januaries, I would take the 600, which I'm going to actually open the size next tomorrow. Leaps for 2023s. This is going to be a brutal market. And I've been trying to warn people, and you guys that are so like uber bullish, I'm sorry, but I'm really trying to guide you. And SPY is my baby. I trade this ticker, and everybody knows when I trade this ticker, my win rate is literally above 90%. I rarely lose trading SPY. And why I don't only trade SPY is because the best time to trade SPY is when there's volatility. And we have a lot of that right now. These ranges are a playground for anybody that loves to trade SPY. And MELI is actually forming a W pattern as well. For those that don't know what a double pattern is, think of the letter W. Look at the chart. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, when we all work together as a team, don't think you're better than others. I just hate this whole group thing where we're playing puts because that's the long edge right now. That's the winner's circle. Calls are good for bounces. This is a W pattern. These are your targets. You can buy each month, 1,500 a month out. You can go a month, another month out for 1206, 2 months out for 1206. You can go 3 months out for 955. You can go six. I'd rather you go 6 months out for these. Six plus. From here, that's a big game if you play this right. We're gonna have some headwind here at the middle of the W. So keep that in mind too. But MELI has been paying. You just have to be patient. A lot of you guys, another thing with Amazon, like that's another one. But we'll get to that. I'll get to that too next. Amazon is another one of my babies. When I focus on it, meaning when I talk about something so much and I make a thread for myself in it, is because I'm tuned in. And when I do that, and I'm sorry, like this is within the live, but I'm raw with everything I speak. And I know I'm blunt. But when I make a thread and I say no questions in that thread, you have to respect that. It's a thread strictly for trading levels. It's not about, oh, this and that. During market hours, we are traders. We are not 21 questions. Make a separate thread with those questions if you have it. Or DM me. If I don't respond, it's because I respond to you after markets. We're all focused, and new people, please respect that. We're always focused during market hours. So asking questions while we're trading is not a good idea. Come here, Baba. Up. Asking questions. Up. Come here, Baba. Sit down. Good boy. Lay down. Asking questions while we're trading, asking for views and thoughts is actually not a good idea, because you're basically coming into somebody else's thoughts and they're trading and their focus. You're interrupting that. That's why it's a big rule to me to, when we're trading, we're trading. That's all it is during trading hours, market hours. So, okay, back to this again. I want to focus on this gap with MELI. Every gap fills. When it will fill, who knows? If you buy enough time, you don't have to worry about that. 100 points a month is not a bad idea. This is the gap here. No, Papa, stay right there. This is your gap, and this gap could fill within any points on this trending level here, which I would actually draw. It would be horizontal, so it would be something like that. Move that. It would be something like this. I can put this in between here. This would actually be another one, but I would actually face this way. It would be that long. All right, and then another one there. Okay. So all gaps do fill. This could be, I mean, next year. I mean, November was my target for 2020. We're getting that sooner than November. And the reason I said November for 20 target, why? Because I always like to give you guys time, because if I say November, it forces you to buy time. It doesn't matter if the profits are small, the gains are 20% because you bought time. That's a good thing. But if you buy size and time, that's an even better thing. Why? Because it's just money sitting and printing, money sitting and printing. And then what you do, you build a bigger capital by trading weeklies, like I do with SPY. SPY pays the bills. It allows me to fund other trades instead of dipping into having to sell a long-term trade and be like, oh, I see a better opportunity, so I want to take some profit off of this one and then see if I can flip this. So, because I already know how y'all think. All of our traders think the same. So that's MELI. I want to get to Amazon. Amazon has not shown a sign of rotating back to all-time highs. Amazon is in a falling wedge. Amazon is in a inverted head and shoulders. I don't get what is so bullish about Amazon. Y'all have not noticed that all these headlines they are putting out because Amazon is dropping is to keep it afloat, not to send it back to all-time highs. We are ways above from all-time highs, and a lot of people keep forgetting that. Again, this is an inverted chart. Keep that in mind. So it looks bullish. Falling flags or descending wedges are very bullish. 3,000 is coming. And the way that we're looking at with ES tonight, Amazon should be opening above 32.89. 32.89 will be a high for the week, this level. Anything close to that will be a high. So choose wisely. How I trade that on the weekly, I look at Amazon's weekly range. I buy half of that range from the week from my target high of the week. So what I'm saying with that, last week's range for Amazon was 159 points. Half of that is about 75 points. Or let's round that out to 160 points. And let's just say 80 points is half of that. So what I would do is I would subtract 80 points from my key level that it had to close above. So 32.89. So that puts us at what? I will be buying puts that are 3,200. That's a safe man's bet. Now let me give you some annotations and give you some, break something down. So this would be it. I would be buying these right here. But also, why? Because this is a vacuum. This is a rejection area. So it coincides with 200 off of this candle here. We are above the 1430 and 20. Even if Amazon goes back to 33.54, still bullish. It's a bullish setup. The fact that we are above, and this is on a weekly chart, I wouldn't mind the inside week for Amazon. I would, what I like, and this is the thing you guys gotta understand, you guys rush for a move to happen, but it's better when it's set up perfectly so that when it does drop, it drops hard. You don't want just slow drops, because slow drops make premium decay drop too as well. You want steep drops. You want drops that, you want 100-point drops on Amazon in a day. You don't want 100 points down in 5 days. That's 20 points a day. By Wednesday, premium is crap. You would need like a 60-point pop on a Friday to get a 10-bagger. And it would have to be at the high of the day, buying calls at the low. Or the higher day target, sorry. It's your Amazon. 32.89 is key for this week. Keep that in mind. Next up is DRI. DRI. Haven't traded this ticket in years. No, not years. I'm sorry. In months. Maybe years. Actually, maybe years. We have a candle combo on the weekly. Despite markets being down the previous week, this was bullish. Restaurants look like they're doing good. But with that being said, that puts Costco on my list for a long. And another thing, why I want to do Costco, because I was watching, me and my lady was watching, got one movie, and OA, and she was in Costco. And it's like, I felt like that was a sign. So I was like, all right, let me go check my scanner. I look at my scanner, I see DRI, which is DRI. And then I'm like, let me see what other stocks are trading in that, crap. Got a brain fart. Oh man, I forgot the word. What's the word? What other tickers are trading in that sector? There you go. So I was like, Costco, why not? That was a sign. I like it for the long. Nice setup. And people were probably asking, oh, but the market, you're short the market. Why would you be long? Because there are tickers and there are sectors that are bullish in a short market, in a bear market, if you want to say. And this is one of them that caught my attention, but I want to pull back. So this is DRI. I saw the volume on DRI too. They picked up a lot, but a lot of people don't understand. Just looking at the chart, you can see a bull flag breakout. I'm going to remove my extensions. I'm going to draw you a channel. Make sure this is straight as possible. We're going to bring it up to here because this is actually where price had to break out. Channels make trading easy. It's just support and resistance. That's all it is. But it's support. It's the key support and the key resistance point. That price needs to hold and that price needs to break. Hold would be your support, break would be your resistance. And here it did that, created a candle combo. Also off, and it bounced off of that resistance and it turned that resistance now into a support. So in this case, what I usually do is I like to draw an extension inside my channels. If you look here, down to here. Oops, hold on. There we go. Change this color. Oh, made it white. Hold on. There we go. The 2-day. Bounce off that 14 SMA nicely. I'm looking for a 160 break. Looking at long term, I want two weeks out. So next week and the week after next calls, I'm targeting 170. 200 probably for January. It's possible or close. And that's Dree. Next is Costco. Costco is another one that I love as well. And you know me, when I feel things, it's like something's telling me, like, and especially I see things, and I was watching TV and Costco kept popping up. And I checked the chart and it's perfectly set up. It just tested last week, 14 SMA. But me, before I jump in this, I need some confirmation. Can this hit 500, 532 by the end of the year? Very possible. 4D's looking lovely. H2 remains in a channel, a fib channel, 467.35, 438.55. 438 would be nice. 438.55 and then a bounce off of that. 2D somewhat holding up. It's trying to fight. It's battling. But that rejection at the 467.35. So you can play the long game, buying 3 weeks out, and the short game, buying weeklies. Closest to the money, 10 points below it. Last price is 448. So 438's, well, there's not 438 calls, 435 and 430 calls. I mean puts, sorry. But this is what I'll be watching. This, MELI, I'm already in position. I will be adding to my MELI position. MELI. I will be trading SPY per usual. I've been looking at SPY leaps as well. I'm already in SPY leaps. I want to show you SPY because SPY is very important. Damn. Market's down. Yikes. Yikes. All right, let me stop trolling. People were looking for a glizzy next week or a hot dog pattern in regards to SPY. Let's edit this. And actually, let's get rid of this. I don't need this. Let's get rid of these. Don't need to draw what you call this when we have our long-term extensions. Perfect. This is from this low here, that high. This should be here. And this point should be higher, actually. It should be up here. This should be down here. So that all levels always line up. There it is. Every level always lines up. So we got our first down signal on the weekly chart. If you look back, we haven't had any. We closed below the 14, and then now we close below the 20. Next up, 30. Opening below 435.81. Again, this is not an inverted chart. But opening below 435.81. We got targets of 427.33. Below that, 413.36 and 409.04. 400 is going to be the fun part. That's going to be where we possibly bounce for a little bit. I'm going to go inverted because I love looking at SPY inverted. This is a long ride. Look at this. It's your weekly. We got to break 42.27. Could be a triple top or a triple bottom. Triple top, inverted, triple bottom, standard. The method I use in these charts is the same. You can use it for any chart. You just got to follow that chart for a long time and trade that chart, trade that ticker for a while, and you'll start catching on. Now in this chart, if you look at this weekly, we have not closed above the 14 SMA since November of 2020. The 14 and the 20 SMA, we couldn't even hold that. We rejected the following week. Is this time different? We'll see. A close above the 20, which we did last week. And then we're looking for a close above the 30 SMA, which is 426.14, or close below, inverted. $4D has me. It's my favorite chart. That similar bullet setup here. Inverted. This was a bearish setup for a down move. This is a bullet setup for an up move. A 434.60 was very important to close above. Even if we bounce off of that, I want to see a close above 428.27. We'll get to 420 possibly in 2 weeks. It's your daily chart. These boxes out of here. And an inside daily. That's why I didn't really budge much Friday because of that. Look at the daily chart. We held above 40. We held below 434.60, inverted above. We went from a candle combo to a big move Thursday. And then Friday, we went inside. That 428.27 is going to be very important. But I like this cup and handle we're forming here. Breakout is 428.27. I don't want to talk you guys to death, but that's it for tonight. I'm stopping recording now.